I didn't have the time to finish.
All right. Don't make me feel bad for you.
Okay, so
Hi, Sarah.
We're missing one.
Well, Tony
Yeah, Finn.
can't make it,
We're missing
Tony
Tony.
Tony
and
has bad
Dylan.
internet.
which is why we're recording and everything.
Did it go off?
Missing Ralph,
I was going to say, was it kept out of the fridge too long? What?
He's not able to apparently get a good signal, so.
He lives in Finland. Their internet connection is almost godlike.
Yes.
But he is at a wedding this weekend, so I don't know
Um,
what that's all about. So.
Apologies, I'd forgotten about that.
But yeah, so we will be recording for him. We have people taking notes. Thank you. That way, when stuff comes up in the future, you can go, well, on June 3rd, you said this. And then I'll be like, yeah.
I'm probably
Enjoy.
I
gonna.
did.
This is why
okay.
most DMs don't let notes be taken about this, so that they can change things in the future. Like, did I? I don't remember that. It's all changing.
At this point, I'm just going to let you all know I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. All right. So, welcome to the. I don't know why I'm carrying a pen right now, but you know,
It makes
it's professional, you know.
Yeah.
Point over here.
I'll get maybe a pair of something, or would you like me to grab? Well, I've got all sorts of stuff. on my desk.
Welcome to the first session of session 0 of the campaign. I will warn you. Last night, Roll20 acted a fool during the game I was playing, and so if it does act a fool again, it's probably because of the large number of people who are on for Roll20 Con.
Isn't that happening on Twitch though, mainly?
Yes, but people are playing. There's a large number of games that are actually being played right now.
But
So
hopefully, we should have some stability.
So, if case that happens, we'll find an alternative route. But other than that, I want to say thank you guys for sticking out this arduous 2-month process.
Good lord.
I'd forgotten it was started in April.
You know, you have a little bit of the advantage of having some player chemistry, knowing one another quite a bit. But before we begin, some of you really talked a bit, so it's not going to be that big a deal. But I would like each of you to introduce yourselves
Oh god.
and who your character is.
Oh god.
A little bit, whatever you want to say about your character before we start.
Sure.
Okay.
Who do we start with?
You, the one who asks.
You're the first.
The one who asks
I
always
knew that
We'll
starts.
was-
start with Ed.
Yeah, you're the first on the list.
Bah. Okay then, my name is Ed. I often have the last name Lycos, which is how you identify me on most of these things. I am playing the Wood Elf Druid Tivan Sunda, and he is a rather interesting character with very low charisma. So he tends to have interesting interactions with civilized people, usually being incredibly blunt to the point of offensiveness, not deliberately, of course. His native language is Elvish. He finds common a little bit harder to wrap his tongue around. So he may or may not insult you continuously or say things very rude to you, but it is in the kindest of hearts. He's also very devout in his ideals of freedom for all creatures and beings. He dislikes anything sort of which could be considered captivity, unless it's like a livestock animal about to be killed. Then that's the course of nature. But everything else he will go out his way to deal with that. Otherwise, he's actually a nice guy. He tends to enjoy company of others, loves music, blah blah blah, all the sappy things. And he is a moon circle druid, so he specializes in changing forms. So whenever we have combat, he'll probably
We
be
have our frontline tank.
he'll be in front as something large and squishy, and then when that gets got rid of, he will probably move back and be able to use a lot of utility. But otherwise, yeah, that's Tivan Sunda. Next up, Sabrina, because you called me out.
Okay, go ahead, Sab.
I have actually no idea what to say. No, okay, well, I'm Sabrina. I'll be playing Fia Tezim, the half-elven bard, high elf, half-elf. She comes from Ruby Shoals in Bliss, although she was originally born in Sil Dominica in Oshir. Yeah, she is basically. She looks like she's mid late 20s, but she's actually almost 60 years old. So she's like one of the grandmas aside from Ed, probably. He's also
Tivan
60.
61. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you're like a
ignore
little
that.
bit older. Yeah. Um, she's actually had a pretty like normal-ish childhood, apart from the fact that her father got murdered and her mother died giving birth to her. I'm not gonna reveal too many details. You're gonna have to find out. Yeah, she's traveled most of southern Ele'thias already. She's been through Gorgath, the FRM, Crestmore, and Kenu, and yeah. So she's been. Oh, Landfill
Oh.
Woods, Fisherman's Wharf. Hi. Um,
Yes.
yeah, she's that sort of girl who just likes to travel around, see people's smiles when she performs, and is generally very nice to everyone, like cheerful person, outgoing person. Probably going to be the face of the party unless someone wants to take that spot. And yeah, I don't what should I say? I don't know.
I think you've given everything. What would you do in combat?
Oh yes, in combat. Seeing as we don't have a sorcerer anymore, Sarah. Um, Fia is
Fine.
gonna focus a lot more on arcane magic than I had initially planned, and she's gonna play a support role, being a lore bard. She's gonna stick far back mostly, cast spells to either hinder the enemy, give them disadvantage, trap them, restrain them, something like that, and buff allies with her inspiration or, yeah, that sort of stuff. And when needed, she's probably gonna lob some fireballs and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, poor
Tivan's looking forward to
Tivan.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the
And
fear of fire that he has.
yeah. Also, Tivan and Fia will know each other by the time the campaign starts. They've been traveling for a handful of years before that. So yeah, she's probably gonna be the mother sort of character, and Tivan is gonna be like the I don't know how all this works child character, but she's gonna stretch that over the entire party if necessary. Like these are these people are like my family. I'm gonna take care of them, sort of character. That's what's
Okay.
gonna happen.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. Abe, go ahead.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Abe. I am playing Hadrid Red Eagle and his pet panther, Cuddles. Who, yes, Cuddles, MTV Panther extraordinaire. So, Hadrid is, due to my inaccuracy in reading, is apparently in his late 30s, so he's actually like middle-aged, and he's gone gray, and he looks kind of repulsive because of the battle scarring from when Gorgoth invaded Reginald's Dilemma.
Right.
So he's a pretty ugly looking dude,
Aw.
Poor
basically
bastard.
just because of the scarring on his face. Like half his face is fused, half his face is just missing flesh. So he's ugly. After the Gorgoth invaded Reginald's Dilemma, Hadrid just went on a rampaging murder spree against basically any Gorgoth that he could find. But in the past 3 years, he's been trying to reform himself, and one of his goals is to save a life for every life that he's taken, which is 400
Oh.
at least.
I'm glad I'm
So
not
he's-
from Gorgoth.
Yeah,
Fun
if you were
place.
wandering alone in the marsh, you're probably dead. So my combat role is difficult because I have two characters. Cuddles is a frontline fighter, basically all she is. Hadrid is more of a support character than anything else because he can't really do all that much damage. but he's also kind of a ranged fighter, so I'm not really sure as to how to play him in combat yet. So we'll see as that pans out.
Okay. Thank you, Abe. That leads to James.
Alrighty, so my name is James. Can you guys all hear me fine? I have a fan going in the background.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Can't hear
it's
the
okay.
Okay. My name is James. I'm playing Teft. What is my last name? Teft Axwild. I am a
This is my
half
last
orc.
name.
I changed it mid character creation. So
Yeah, sorry. Myself.
I'm Teft Axwild. I am from a small jungle in northeastern Bliss, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a ranger rogue. I currently started as a ranger because I couldn't validate him starting as levels of rogue coming from a tribe of orcs. So
There will be rogues later.
yeah. Well, I promised I would level as rogue later.
Yes, please.
Teft is secretly half elven. Just he doesn't really broadcast that, other than the half elves in all the elves and half elves in the group might pick up on it faster.
He looks like an elf.
Mm-hmm.
We'll stop. We won't yell that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it'll add for some interesting role playing of. Does he look like an elf to you? But I'll leave that up to your characters in game. Yeah, he's going to be a frontline fighter. Think like Three Musketeers kind of roguey duelist.
Right. So swashbuckling style-ish.
Yeah. Once I get to level 3 in a rogue, I'm going to borrow the swashbuckling archetype from the Waterborne Adventures.
Delightful.
And I believe I covered everything there. So,
Great.
Okay.
How would we deal with him in personal sort of? Is he a nice guy? Is he an asshole? Is he trying to eat us? What?
Yum, yum. Cannibalism.
Personality-wise, Teft would be your gruff, just like in your face. Think your generic sailor stereotype.
Right.
But once you get under that, he'll be a more loyal like companion. Just like you just got to get through all the rough patches and underneath all the sandpaper. He's a nice guy.
That man's arm is very strange.
Mm.
Covered in sandpaper. Anyway.
It's great for
Cool.
grappling.
All right. Thanks, James. All right, Sarah.
Yes, I'm Sarah, and my character is Rennie, who is a shy, young barbarian dragonborn. So she'll probably look the weirdest.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Delightful.
She has normal human parents. Grew up in a tribe in the Free Marshes. She'll probably be a frontline fighter.
Sounds good.
Probably.
Probably.
She'll be in
I'd love to see. I'm gonna love to see how her shyness sort of deals with rage.
Oh yes.
She's gonna be sort of like, don't look at me. I kill you. Sorry. It's gonna be fun. Sorry for interrupting.
Is that it?
No worries. What else?
Oh, just anything you want to share. It's up to you.
I was gonna say we've all shared far too much. I think that's just about fine. Because we're
What's
gonna
your favorite color?
white.
Yellow.
No, yellow.
All right. Okay, well, that leads to Mark.
Okay, I am playing Pudding Thistle Blossom. He's a halfling, pretty short for a halfling. It's 2'11", but twice as plump as most halflings are because he just loves fresh bread and milk. He stormed out of his house about 9 years ago after a fight with his father, so he doesn't really know whether they're even still alive, his family, but he's traveled most of South and West Ele'thias on a quest of his own. Always gets up to mischief, often impatient. Yeah. and I will be trying to avoid combat as much as possible. And I'll do other things to help the party in combat, hopefully. But yeah, I'm a warlock. So.
Okay.
All the supports.
Yeah.
Everybody
damage
is
dealers.
supporting.
In
They're
a
all supporting
pinch.
one person.
In a pinch, I will actually walk up to the enemy, but it will have to be a really.
You're right.
I might just go full damage healer bard and fuck it. Okay, sorry.
It's like, go get him, Dragonborn. We'll all be back here.
Hey,
Follow me, I'm right behind you.
Put them all up.
That's how combat works, right? You
The bear.
send the most solid one in first. Just a conga line of less solid people going right back to the mages
Yeah.
at the back.
Yeah. I'm just gonna shout insults from the back.
We'll get you a
You
mega
and I are
don't
going
worry.
to get on really
Delicious
well.
smokery. Delicious smokery.
Mark, did you say Pudding was 2.5 feet tall?
That's a
2 foot
very
11.
short halfling. That's
2
nearly
foot 11.
gnome size.
Wow.
No, about 2'11", so almost 3, but not quite.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But
That's
still,
But
gnome
still,
size.
it's still a quite short.
And
That's
while
actually
you
so
run
short.
by, do a dexterity check to see if you step on Pudding's.
the hell is, oh, that's pudding.
Yeah.
I'll
How?
get it off my boot.
You, I
I
stepped
thought that
something.
was the reason I actually went last in this whole exercise here, because no one ever notices that happens.
How tall is Rennie?
I think I'll just check, but it's 6'2" or 6'3" or something.
Like, probably one of the tallest in the party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, Fia is 5'9".
Teft is
6'3".
Teft is 5'11", I think.
Yeah, so Tivan and Teft are the same height.
Mm.
So no tall elves.
Well, Tivan is also incredibly thin to the point of like
Ah.
anorexia, so he's
You'd have no
scary thin.
mass.
Yeah, you just push him and he goes whoosh.
I'm gonna pick up Tevin and use him as a javelin now.
So there's a high wind, quick stake him to the ground before he flies away.
Yeah, and then there's Fia, who is probably slightly smaller than Tivan and actually weighs a little more because she's a woman and has like some curves here and there, but she's also through her dancing performances and actually she's actually got a pretty well built body. So there she is, and then there's Tivan the stick, and then it's gonna be funny.
She just sits on Tivan basically.
Which
Just
one
riding
is thicker, Tavon or the staff he's carrying?
Depends on what way you're looking at him. If you look at him sideways, you may miss him.
Great.
He's not thin like athletic thin. He's like thin as if formerly starved thin.
Yeah, gaunt.
So
yeah.
he's very gaunt. So it's like if you could slip between cracks and doors, falls down cracks and pavements. You just got to be careful.
Yeah, Fia hasn't succeeded
Watch out
in
for the
fully.
sewer grates.
Yeah.
Fia hasn't succeeded in fully nourishing him back yet.
It takes time. Yeah,
So I want
he's-
to apologize for overlooking Victor, who is still not here as well. I
We
want to
just
apologize.
ignored the
for
fact
that.
he doesn't exist. I was gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4,
know.
5, 6, 8. I was like,
Dave
where-
did mention he was not here. I don't think I picked up on that for some
we
reason.
sort of ignored it.
Sorry, Victor. But he is
I
trying
noticed
to
it.
get here. I guess he's out and about. Maybe he'll be here later. Okay, so that's a brief introduction. Of course, Victor is a Typhus cleric from the Free Marshes. Just so you know, he is a younger guy.
19.
Little naive, as he would put it.
It's so awesome.
We have heard.
ready, ready to take on the world in a quirky sort of way. And then we don't even have to talk about Tony's character, Kronos, the very aloof.
The Fey-touched human with a
It's-
heart of
I
ice
mean-
and a mind of complex wheels and cogs. He's like Saruman without the magic powers. I'm not kidding. That's probably the closest character I could approximate him as.
So yeah, so there's he is going to be a paladin. So a paladin of the Fae. realm, and he wouldn't be here, but for internet troubles. So, to begin with, there is the in the beginning. So, how is this campaign going to start? Well, first of all, I've given a lot of thought, and having gone through the kind of insanity that I've gone through in the last 2 weeks with the campaign I'm in right now, of crazy bunch of strangers trying to decide why they're supposed to travel together and have no common goal whatsoever at this point, rather than to run into that terrible barrier. One, we do know that Tevon and Fia know each other, but I'm going to offer up an opportunity, not necessarily for you all to be friends, but to have had some sort of acquaintance with one another.
I hate you all. Oh, sorry, Karen.
Yes, you hate everybody. So that way, because I want this to begin to where you guys at least don't feel like, oh my gosh, who's this person that I woke up next to? Are they gonna slit my throat? I mean, that does not encourage party unity. So I want to give you guys an opportunity. I know that Fia and Tavon know each other. What did the rest of you? Do you guys want to know one another, or maybe a character who's not here?
Do you mind if I just quickly ask?
Mhm.
Obviously, the start of the story is we all end up on a beach, and that we've just been wrecked in a shipwreck.
Yes.
So, are we suggesting that we know each other from before then, and we were traveling all together, or we were traveling in small groups, or
I'm thinking
is there
more
anything specific that you've got in mind?
right. I'm thinking more small groups. I'm thinking that
Right.
maybe clusters of you are aware, not necessarily that you're longtime friends like you and Fia are, but maybe that you have some sort of business together, or that is taking you on this boat. Unfortunately, as I've made very clear, the details about the ship itself, you don't know anything about it. You remember there was a storm, there was a ship, you somehow blacked out, and you ended up on this. You don't know anything about what happened that night, other than there was a storm. You don't know where you set sail from, and you don't have any idea why you set sail from there.
Right. I was going to say, because that would be the reason I would use to construct why we're all together.
Right.
Either where we're from or where we're going. So if we
Right.
don't have that, then we can't
Well-
proceed on that basis. So we're going to need another reason. So
Well, we could.
Now,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Shh, oh, hang on. Yeah, no, you go ahead, because
Oh.
he's just woken
Okay.
up. Sorry.
So my thought is that there was some sort of major cause that brought you guys, that you all were going together. Maybe not aware of one another, but you all were headed toward that major cause. But that each of you has individual business group. Each of the groups has individual business as well, which would allow you guys to kind of coalesce in clumps. And somehow along the way, you guys are going to become more unified, even though you're clumps here, clumps there. You don't feel strangers. You have a vague recognition of talking to one another on the boat, but you don't. Anything about why you were on the boat is missing. Like, you've had conversations about where you're from, maybe in passing, or you've overheard things, but you don't know what you were doing on the boat.
that's fine. I think
Yeah.
we've got that one now.
Okay.
I can say that was the fifth rotation. Okay, so sorry for interrupting again. So
No, that's fine.
if we don't have that, obviously people will need to have met up before we set off. So we need to establish groups of people who would have been in similar areas or would have been doing similar things recently, say in the last year. Because Fia and Tavan were traveling ostensibly to find more, sort of to gather power, I think is their background. I won't go into any more detail, but they're trying to gather strength and power. So basically, why is everyone else traveling? It doesn't have to be specific, but why are they traveling? And then once we know that, people can start grouping together by motivation.
Like that.
That might work.
Yeah.
So
Teft was a sailor turned pirate, so I imagine my connection to the party would have been with John because he's the Tempest cleric, and from what I picked up from his character was he was fairly ocean tide. So
He's oceanic-ish. Yeah. Okay.
that's last I picked
Yeah.
up on his background.
Yeah.
So Teft would most likely run into John rather than any of you others. So
You other fools. So
well,
maybe
my only backup would be given that pirates most likely come out of Gorgon or Goroth. Yeah, Gorgoth.
Yeah.
My only other person I might have bumped into would be Hadrig, but that might have been the
But then I probably would have slaughtered you had it not been like
which was why I was
3
like
3 years ago.
no.
so. Teft and John, if they're both oceanic, John was probably doing some sort of religious ceremony surrounding the temple. Is he a cleric of Cord? Sorry, I think.
Yes, he is a cleric of Cord.
Yes.
Okay, so would Teft have any reason to go on board warships or things like that?
To raid and pillage them.
Okay, but maybe there was
Or
a-
maybe
maybe-
a volunteer on one.
maybe you I was gonna say possibly you were both in port somewhere at the same time. He was a cleric giving out blessings. You needed something from a cleric or something like that, and that's how maybe you two got together. Because out of mutual need for something, maybe he was traveling somewhere. He
Okay.
needed someone who had connections, such as yourself. You needed help with something, maybe having a responsible or reasonable person like a cleric on board as well. even if he's a cleric of Cord.
Responsible. John.
He's naive. You could probably
Yeah.
you're probably taking him for a ride.
I was going with it. I was thinking of leaning that way with the naive nature that we've kind of pictured John's character being. Teft would just be like, "Come on, idiot!" in the middle of the street. The town's under attack. Get out of the road.
Well, something like that. I imagine John is actually quite cunning. So,
Yeah.
but we don't know that.
Mm.
But I think that's probably the best way I can
Yeah.
think of that you guys got together.
That would
So-
most likely. I'll run it by John when he shows up and
Okay.
figure out what's what.
So,
That
Abe,
sounds good.
what about your character? What's his sort of recent history?
So I actually ran out of time coming up with backstory because I had to add an extra 20 years last night, and I'm not. He basically tells me to stop murdering people, so I
Do so.
I do so. That's basically what happened, and I'm not really sure where Hadrid would go from there. He probably left the free marshes, the eastern free marshes in Gorgoth. He probably left that area to just go somewhere else, and then
Do so.
I do so. That's basically what happened, and I'm not really sure where Hadrid would go from there. He probably left the free marshes, the eastern free marshes in Gorgoth. He probably left that area to just go somewhere else, and then he booked his passage coming back when he heard about the plague breaking out. But I'm not really sure why he would interact with anyone else because he doesn't trust anyone else.
Maybe this is something, but maybe Sarah, you're a barbarian, right?
Yes.
You live in the wildlands. You've dealt with lots of different people, sort of outcasts. And a ranger is also someone who tends to spend a lot of time in the wilderness.
Yeah.
It's possible that.
Out of a shack in the woods that I
Yeah. What about sorry, I've forgotten your character. Rini. What's Rini been doing recently? Do you know?
Living close to a city and spending a lot of time in that city.
Which city was that?
Severance Hook.
I don't know where that is. GM, help me. Okay, so that's in a similar area to where Abe's character has been.
Yeah.
So it's possible that you've bumped into each other, possibly through chance, and somehow maybe Abe's been convinced to maybe try and redeem himself for being very violent recently. Not that he feels, maybe he doesn't feel guilty for it, but maybe he feels he needs to show another side of himself. And maybe because we have a very shy dragonborn, she's decided that she doesn't want to be sort of caught up and shy in this area anymore and wants to go out into the world a bit. And I'm sorry, I'm suggesting everybody else's story.
No, that's fine.
Murder buddies.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm-
less murder buddies, more.
None.
I'm
sort of-
getting the Pike and Grog vibe from Rinny and Abe.
A little. I'm not basing it on that, but it makes sense that maybe there's someone who's a bit. Who's how old is Rini? Sorry, I know that's an inappropriate
19.
question to ask. Okay,
19.
so she's another young Dragonborn.
Oh, that's
Look,
cute.
We've got Abe's character, who is relatively old. So maybe she could be using him as sort of information, for information, basically. In a similar way that Tivan is having Fear basically show him what the world is like, because he's lived in the wildernesses of bliss for his entire life, the last 50 years. So he doesn't have a clue what's going on. So maybe in a lesser way that could be happening, and then maybe Rini has her own reasons for wanting to leave. Maybe she doesn't want to be with a. Was she living with a tribe, or was she living on her own?
Well, she was living in a tribe. It's a folk hero background, but she didn't like being a folk hero.
Yes. No, I remember now. Okay, so maybe she
she
wanted
was
to get
running
away from
away.
everything. Yeah. So if she wants to run away, who better to take her somewhere than a ranger who ranges a long distance over hills and dales, etc. So in a very Strider-like mentality, maybe he's taking her on a journey. And you fully intend to return someday, maybe, but for now you're traveling around, and then we've left Mark all alone. What's Pudding's background? Sorry.
For the same reason, Pudding would probably know to them, because Pudding has been traveling for a number of years looking for someone. Concentrating on forests and areas like that. So he would probably have bumped into Kevin somewhere along the line. But at the same time, he is a gambler, so he would also have frequented taverns a lot. And
He
therefore
could have-
possibly bumped into the bar a lot as well.
Yeah, I was
He may
about to
have
say.
bumped into Teft, is what I'm thinking, being the pirate.
Yeah.
I think-
It's like, oh, there's that little thing I tripped over again.
Oh yeah, maybe he's not an easy mark, but he might be good to get you into places you couldn't get into otherwise. Because Pudding is a warlock, yes?
Yeah,
Cool. So
Very
he
much
has
and
a
a
little-
gambler.
yes, he's a warlock and a gambler and a halfling. So maybe he has a little bit of, so maybe
know
he-
him.
yeah, but maybe he has a bit more cachet than say Teft, who's just a pirate. And
Yeah.
so maybe that was also Teft's reason. So they all sort of joined together, John, Teft, and Pudding.
I gamble you this nice human I found.
John's like, I didn't know you could do that. And then we now have to work out, we'd have to ask Tony, obviously, but I think Cronus would probably end up traveling with Fear
Yeah,
and
I was about to
Tivan,
say. Yeah.
primarily because
We're
Tivan
elves.
and Cronus both share a sort of outsider world look, and Tivan being a druid and respected by the Fae, vice versa, the Fae people being respected by the druids, there'd probably be a little bit of a connection there. And so he probably is wandering around for no reason. He probably doesn't have a clue why he's going with them, but he's just doing it anyway. Almost like an observer watching Tivan fall over things and be an idiot, basically.
For the
So I
humor
imagine-
value.
Yeah, he's basically there. He's there for a good time. He's
Yeah.
bored. He wants to see something funny.
Tony's character would probably not voluntarily go with anybody who is not connected to the Fae, sort of thing. I mean, he said that before, that he wouldn't trust someone without either connection to the Fae or Fae blood in them. So Tivan, being the full elf, is probably the person who is gonna be closest in some way to Kronos.
Full elf druid, as opposed to the slightly confused human Fae-touched person.
Yeah.
We don't tell him
And
that.
there's this quirky little half-elf bard who is actually one of the oldest in the party, but behaves like a 14-year-old schoolgirl.
I like the fact you're calling her little. She's taller than me in real life. Anyway, but that sounds like that's some decent links. And then we all ended up wherever the boat set out from, probably heading somewhere
Mystery
else.
boat.
Yeah.
And whilst we were waiting for maybe whilst we were waiting for the boat, we all we were gathered in a local tavern somewhere.
Yeah.
We all took the last few rooms, and then we just spent a night basically. Tivan failing to be coherent, and Fear performing for things, and the pirating, and basically I imagine everybody in the inn just sort of having a good time, and then that's how we knew one another. We can sort of remember that night. We can't remember where the tavern was
My
or if
sunglasses.
anyone was there. Yeah, basically, it was a drunk. It feels like a drunken evening in our memories.
And there definitely
Yeah.
wasn't a murder mystery there.
No.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a murder
Definitely
mystery.
not.
There definitely
I'm
wasn't
also-
aphrodisiacs left downstairs. There was definitely Anyway,
Yeah, I'm
So-
also thinking that when we wake up after our shipwreck, you said that we don't like remember anything. Yeah, right, Will? Like,
You don't remember anything.
That was some
well,
good-
well,
about
I
the
know,
boat.
I know
not
that.
total amnesia.
No, I know that we know who we are and what we've been doing and everything, but we have no recollection of how we got onto the boat, where we set sail from, who are the people on the boat with us and stuff. I was thinking maybe we could have some sort of, maybe not memory, but if we look at the other people, like me looking at Rini, for example, it would be like, I have no idea who you are, but I feel like I've seen you before, sort of thing. Not like,
Oh,
And
but
which-
you know who they are.
No, that's the thing. It's not that bad memory loss. It's literally like some short-term temporal memory loss where
Oh.
you forget.
So
that's
I
what you
think-
specific
mean.
memory is
Okay.
right.
That's
so
what
I
you
forget
mean.
drinks,
You forget events and short-term things, but you remember people and places and things like that.
our drinks
Okay.
have been spiked and we've been shanghaied. Perhaps that's sort of,
But
that's sort of
Fia-
unwilling,
Yeah,
Fia
I
doesn't
imagine
drink
that's probably
alcohol.
Teft's immediate thought. It's like, damn it, not again!
Probably a good idea.
It's got on
Probably
the
about
boat and I
right.
don't know where I am.
Fia doesn't
Well,
drink
I
alcohol.
did a nice write up for his intro. It was like, I gotta go get some supplies. It's how you survive a shipwreck. Then again, I've never survived a shipwreck before. Let's go see how this works.
I've never survived a shipwreck. Did you die if you died? Probably be Tev's response.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fia wanders around and looks for her loot and doesn't care for anything else.
Okay.
I like the
that's
fact you
good.
spelled it L-U-T-E, not L-O-O-T. It's 'cause of her loot. Where's my
Loot.
stuff?
So
no,
that
she meant the instrument.
No, I know. I'm just taking the piss out of it. Dear.
that actually leads to the next thing, which is your heirlooms, your artifacts, the things that you don't want to lose in the boat, because you will be starting with nothing but the clothes on your back. Otherwise,
Okay.
Well-
Yeah, you start it, and then we go.
I was gonna say, talking is the fact that I've been talking for the last 2 hours. It feels like anyway. Sorry, guys.
Did I
Yeah.
miss anything important?
No.
I'll tell you about it. It's your staff, right?
Yeah, I was going to say,
druid staff.
Tavan's got his druid staff. Basically, he would cut off the limbs of everybody in the party to get that staff back. So, yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that stuff isn't
Okay.
going anywhere. So, yeah. It
And
is a
see-
focus, but I've agreed that for the purposes of currently, he won't be using it as like a weapon. Maybe I've injured my hand or something, so I
Right.
can't wield it
Yeah.
properly. So,
Fia, yours is a loot.
Yeah, my heirloom is Fia's chestnut loot, which is the loot she got from her deceased father. Again, she's not going to use it as some sort of blunt weapon and whack people on the head with it. But yeah, it's
go out of tune.
it's also my spellcasting focus. So yeah, my loot.
Okay.
So
Alright.
you sort of have to keep hold of those, otherwise we're entirely useless.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Hadrid, what's yours?
I am not entirely sure.
Okay.
Because when I first heard it, I was thinking his bow, but since I don't really think you want us to have a weapon,
You
Could
cannot
it
have
be-
arrows.
This is a
True.
really special arrow.
Dragon slaying arrow. Nope.
Say, my black arrow.
so, Hadrid's father made him a special bow, so I'm thinking that I still have the bow, except for it's been broken, so it's going to need to be fixed before
needs to
it
be
can be
restrung.
used.
Either that or you made it when he was a kid, so he has a kid-sized bow and he can't use it as an adult. So it's just like a little tiny, like Lute with one string.
Carpenter. Carpenter.
All right, carpenter girl, calm down.
Okay, so
Does it
broken
work?
bow. I like that. Okay. 10.
I being my sailor theme, I went with a shark tooth necklace from a shark that Teft and his siblings killed together. Just like, we murdered this shark. Ooh, shark teeth.
All right, there you go. Shark tooth necklace. Okay.
Because you said Bucky doesn't apply to this.
No,
so.
Bucky is a bird. It's fine.
He's not an object,
Bucky
damn it.
survives.
The same thing with Cuddles. I mean, Bucky and Cuddles are both animals.
I now just have an image of Cuddles just doggy paddling in the sea. And that's the rest.
While
Having a
while
whale of a
Bucky
time.
while Bucky is flying above. Stupid cat! Stupid cat!
Actually, I just see him landing on Cuddles' head as getting.
Yeah, I
towards
just
him.
see like that exact picture of Cuddles just swimming along, and Bucky's just like, "Ha! Can't get me while trying to swim, cat."
The parrot and the panther rivalry, that could be something.
Oh, Tavan's gonna have to step in there.
My bird's gonna die so fast. Like one lucky hit, just dead.
Well,
Okay,
as
well,
long as he flies like 20 feet up in the air, it's like.
Tavan will have to step in as the animal mediator.
All right,
speaks
Randy,
animal.
Animal whisperer, go.
I'm not sure what Rainy would have.
Okay.
Would she
I
have?
don't think it could be a warhammer, so I don't know what to say.
Would she have like a tribal sigil or something? That sort of.
Maybe a part of her egg.
Part of
Good
her
work.
egg.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's. I
Like
think
the
in Dragon Ball
eggshell.
tend to. Yeah, Dragon Ball tend to find that sort of
Eggshell.
thing lucky. So
Okay.
maybe it's like part of your eggshell kept in either a pouch or around in a necklace. That would work.
Mhm.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
All
cool.
right. Pudding.
Okay, Pudding would probably go totally insane if he ever lost the empty vial of perfume that he wears around his neck.
Okay.
Wow.
Perfume.
Empty vial of perfume?
Yeah, empty little, yeah.
It's like before they had little spray bottles that used to have them in literally like vials and splash it on yourself, like aftershave.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean a little, little container made out of crystal with a little cap on it.
Yeah.
Perfume. That's fine.
But it's
Don't drink
empty,
it.
so it's
Yeah.
just got a
Vic-
faint smell left.
Victor's probably gonna have his holy symbol, but
Yes.
we're gonna have to
yeah.
ask him.
And I don't know what Cronus would have, probably a shield with a holy symbol on it, or whatever symbol he uses.
I don't know. We're gonna have to ask him.
Oh, he doesn't use sword and board, does he? He's great at weapons.
Yes, he is a great sword, I think.
He
So
probably
we'll
has
have to find out.
something Fey related, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Probably
see.
like a maybe a token of his allegiance to the. Is it the Unseelie court he's a
Yes.
member of?
Yes.
I'm silly.
Yes. Mhm.
Probably a
Yeah,
token
see
of the Queen of Air and Darkness then, or something scary like that.
It's
Alright.
it's definitely not going to be Titania.
No, never get those two in a room together.
All right. So that leads to character bonuses. Has anybody given a thought and can just throw one out there right now?
I have half of
Okay.
Mark, unless Mark has something more solid. He chirped up too.
Sorry, what was this?
Okay, never mind then.
The character bonus is in place of your name. If we were going to do
Oh, yeah,
nation
I've got
bonuses,
that done. Yeah, I've got
Okay.
that done.
okay, go ahead. Test.
I come from. Okay, so you go first.
No,
No, I have half an idea. You have a more solid idea. So
Yeah,
I was
go ahead,
letting
Mark.
you go first.
sorry. Go ahead.
Pudding grew up in a little village slightly to the east of Richards Folly. So, yeah, I'm from, what's this country called again?
Pressmore.
The Kingdom of Cressmore.
Correct.
So I would have religion as one of my beliefs.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Religion?
Victor.
Victor.
He lives.
Yes.
He won't have
Yeah.
heard us yet because he's still logging in. But yeah.
Yeah.
So Kingdom of Cressmore, proficiency in religion.
Okay, so proficiency. That was the original nation bonus, I do believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what you
Yes.
want, though?
No, I wouldn't mind it actually. Considering, yeah, I don't want to spoil, but yeah, it could be interesting.
Okay. So proficiency in religion. We can do that.
Seeing as I'm not particularly religious. Or something.
All right.
Oh, sorry, I've just included half a secret message. Everybody ignore that. Actually, it's not secret, but this bit isn't secret, but it would indicate something to people, so ignore that.
Victor, type if you
Roll
can
20.
hear us.
Put your hand up if you can hear us.
I
Oh wait.
don't think he can hear us.
And
Just wait while I get this ASCII art. Just to figure that.
Okay, so proficiency in religion, we can do that. Teth, you said you had sort of an idea there.
Yes, I was juggling ideas at the. I wanted a positive and a negative given his heritage, rather
That's
than just
fine.
going, I've got a proficiency in this, done. So at the moment, I was leaning toward his negative, being he has disadvantage on social checks with elves and half elves because of his half elven nature, and they might pick up on what he is faster. So he would also be aware of that and go. He'd be more nervous around, like, I gotta be diplomatic with this guy. Ah, shit. So that he would have disadvantage on social interactions with elves and half elves to that degree.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
the positive thing from his background, I'm juggling between, given his survival among a tribe of orcs, he would get proficiency in survival, which
Mhm.
isn't that big and fancy, but I
Okay.
wanted to run it by you. The other one was perhaps from his elven side, he might have
Mhm.
picked up a minor cantrip that he can just do,
Once a day.
like once a day cantrip rather than like spammable cantrip. You just go, aha.
Okay.
But
What would you want for that cantrip?
the ones I was looking at, I ran one or two by Sabrina when we were
Yeah.
plotting, and
Yeah.
I was
Hey,
the
Victor.
two that
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hi,
Libs.
Victor.
the two cantrips that caught my attention were True Strike or Guidance, simply because they're not flashy cantrips.
Mm-hmm.
They would be, the cantrip Teft would know would be so subtle he might not even realize he was doing it.
Okay.
True Strike is
So-
probably better than
It
Yeah.
makes sense. It might make sense. Yeah.
once a day. Once a
Once
day
a
or once
day.
a...
I would be okay with.
Yeah. So that sort of confirms. Well, we've got a weird background noise from
yeah,
Victor.
from Victor.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm at a kind of public place because my hotel room doesn't really have a good Wi-Fi connection.
Oh, that's okay.
Are you still in the UK, by the way?
No, I'm in Austria right now.
Oh, good luck.
Yay.
The one,
Sorry, just going back to Teft. If you've got a cantrip, that means your mother was half high elf, then?
Well,
Cool.
I don't know what I was running with yet. I just have
Yeah.
half elven mother. I never really built
Well,
any background for her.
well,
Right.
we did... James, we did sort of plot that your mother and Fia's mother were from the same sort of people, so she would be a high elf, your mother.
Yeah.
So having cantrip would make sense.
Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, the other cantrip was Guidance, which would have been like, no, you're doing it wrong, and he'd accidentally like pat Tevin on the shoulder, which would give the Guidance is like an extra D4 on a skill check. No, you're doing it wrong. Do it like this.
Once a day.
Yeah.
Apart
Well,
from the
I
fact you would
figured-
piss
I
him off
figured guidance
spectacularly, yeah, makes sense.
Is that what?
Guidance might have been more of a like 2 or 3 cantrip because
Okay.
it's just that. But True Strike is clearly a combat thing, which would be, aha, I stab you really good once.
Well,
Considering
the
he's
thing
from
is...
a
Yeah, sorry.
warlike tribe, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, carry on.
No, I was about to say the same thing. Seeing as he grew up in surrounded by orcs in an orc tribe where your brothers and sisters probably regularly either bullied you or fought with you, True Strike is probably making more sense than
Really good one.
Guidance.
It's
Yeah.
something you would naturally come across,
Yeah.
sort of, even if you didn't realize you were doing it.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning toward, but I needed Will's thumbs
Okay.
up to go with that one.
You could get proficiency in survival, and because of your high elven blood, you could have a cantrip that you like a true straight you use
Double
once a
bonus.
day.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't happen all the time because your high elven traits don't automatically kicked in.
Yeah.
So basically, you would only be able to use it kind of
Tim,
wildly once a day. So
you and I
Unpredictably
really
once
well.
a day.
Yeah, it's just like you weren't intending to use it, but suddenly you cut this guy in half. It's like, whoa,
Yes.
You guys wouldn't think anything unusual from that. Oh, the half orc just cut guy in half.
oh,
Nothing unusual there.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of subtle. It's really subtle.
clean up an R5.
Now,
Thank you for your input. I will write that down.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, Victor, we're gonna go back to you real quick.
Yep.
What we said before is that your character John would probably have connected with maybe Teth at a port while doing your sea travels because you are typically like staying near the ocean. And
That's true.
That he probably would have. There would have probably been some sort of skirmish or something like that, and Teth probably saved your life because you were probably naively walking around, going, "Hey, what's going on?" And that you also may have bumped into Pudding in a tavern playing cards or something like that.
Well,
Blessings of court. Oh shit.
Hopefully not catching me.
yeah,
Right.
probably wouldn't. Probably
Right.
wouldn't.
So
Not really don't even know the rules to the card games.
So that's how we're saying that you, because the whole purpose was to try to get groups of people to know one another to make it a little easier to coalesce the party together at the beginning, rather than everybody not having any clue who anybody else is. But that also leads to your heirloom. What did you decide your heirloom was going to be?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really have the book with me, so I can't really look at the list of trinkets. So I have no
How
idea
about-
what type.
Come up with
How
something.
about-
Like mine is a broken bow. It's
Yeah.
something that he would have.
What's an item
that's-
of
Come up with
dubious
anything.
value that you've got?
How about the holy symbol?
Yeah, do you have your holy symbol?
What's your holy
No,
symbol?
that doesn't really make a good heirloom. It wouldn't be something my mother would
No,
leave
we-
to me.
Maybe a
It's not-
necklace or something left in your crib when you
It
were
doesn't-
abandoned.
Yeah, it doesn't have to specifically be an heirloom. It's an item that you've keeping
item.
hold of, which you would keep hold of with strong. Yeah, that you would not let go. So
Yeah, exactly. It's like the only clue that I have to my mother's identity. So it needs to be something that connects to the Academy of Skeptics somewhat.
I mean,
You have a good idea.
did she leave something with you? Do you still have an item that belonged to her or that was in I don't know,
Like
that
a
was
lock
on
of-
you or
Like a
Yeah,
lock of her
exactly.
hair
I'm
or
trying to
something.
decide what type of item that would be.
A lock
Yeah,
of hair.
even a blanket you were wrapped in would make sense
Yeah.
if you're in this sort of abandoned child
Maybe you
phase.
have a small waterproof box that contains maybe her journal.
That's
You know that's good. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that.
What was it? Sorry. I'm just
Uh,
writing.
uh,
Go ahead.
What you said, a waterproof box that contains her journal.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
cool.
That's awesome.
She could have
Yeah,
left.
with that, I would learn a lot of stuff about her without ever knowing her. Like her identity, maybe. So that's a big clue. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no, that's
Good
good.
tie-in with.
All right. Waterproof box. All right. And so that brings us back to what we were talking about now,
Bonuses.
which is character bonuses. So, do you have an idea of what your character's bonus might be?
I had one idea that John would have advantage in what was it, persuasion checks against pious people of faith, since he's a cleric and that might influence people's opinions of him.
advantage is very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be quite advantage, but maybe something else along that line would make sense. Like maybe
A
a bonus. Yeah.
Or you
You're good
could,
at debates.
You're good at debates.
Theological debate. Go.
Yeah, good at theology.
Is
know a lot about gods.
Victor, is John proficient in persuasion at all?
Yes, he is.
Okay, never mind then, because otherwise I would have said maybe when you're talking to pious people, you could add your proficiency modifier to the roll you're making. Then it's not quite as powerful as advantage. But since you're already proficient,
Well,
That would just
maybe
be expertise. But...
maybe he can. Yeah, maybe he can get expertise and do it twice. So maybe add double his proficiency bonus.
that could work.
That again is quite
Yeah,
powerful.
expertise.
It's not quite. It's not
that
quite.
does push it up to like 10.
Yeah. But it does. What it does mean is that your ability will scale as you level, which is fair. Whereas if you have like a very small, because the problem with bonuses now is that they could just disappear amongst our skills and talents as we get more, as we grow and level. So that sort of works.
expertise in persuasion against pious people does sound really good.
Would that make
Is
sense,
that-
Will?
Okay.
Green-
If the people who can get expertise are okay with that.
I don't
It's
mind.
it's just literally in one area. I was going to say it's very narrow compared to what
Yeah.
they've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expertise in persuading pious people. Okay.
Yeah, and it's only like persuasion, not other charisma based skills,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Persuasion.
Just persuasion.
No,
All
that
right.
works. I'm fine with that.
That's good.
I will.
Okay.
No?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to book a place in line before you go on to anyone else, because there was something that was sort of obvious that I didn't mention about.
Okay.
If I've got a choice between proficiency in religion and considering the fact that I grew up on the banks of a river,
Okay.
I was thinking perhaps advantage on a swim check might be more appropriate. Pudding can swim very well,
Yeah.
or would be able to, considering he's also pretty fat, so he would float. So.
What do you guys say? Because swimming is such a seldom used ability.
It's a narrower skill than persuasion.
Yeah.
Although it still has the same. If we've said that persuasion against theological people is advantage, persuasion against theological people is powerful. We'd still be applying it here. So maybe again using the expertise thought of you have expertise in swimming, so you get double your proficiency if you.
What type of armor does a cleric wear?
Yeah,
It depends on the type of cleric.
Medium.
Tempest cleric uses heavy.
Yeah,
Well,
but you're
I
not
was thinking-
gonna
my
have
thought
heavy
for
armor.
the swimming was if he's going to be a cleric and he's going to be having a swimming proficiency, perhaps he can negate part of the swimming negative for swimming in armor.
Yeah.
Like I think
I don't really know, man.
No.
Swimming doesn't really seem like a really useful
Pudding's a
skill to
warlock.
have.
Yeah,
No, we're talking about pudding.
I don't wear armor.
Victor, my bad.
Yeah,
I don't wear armor. So
We're talking about pudding here, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pudding.
My bad.
okay. So as far as the swimming goes, I don't really mind. But as far as the negative goes, there is a negative, but I don't want to tell anyone what is the moment.
Okay. You could just let me.
I'm just
know
going to
that.
whisper it straight to you,
Okay.
Will. So
Yeah,
Oh. Okay.
I wanna know.
Da-na-na-na.
Okay.
Now everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I wanna know.
We can't know. It's not allowed.
I've got a macro set up that will do funny things. With
So
it,
expertise in swimming is okay with people.
so. Okay.
Okay.
I don't mind.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
that's
that too. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's such a narrow thing. that-
Yeah.
I don't mind doing that. Okay. What about anybody else?
I have a couple ideas that
Okay.
are probably going to be too powerful. So
See.
my first idea is, since Hadrid was basically a sniper, he was the commander of the archery regiment. In Kato off. Yeah.
The command of the cats from screen.
Yes.
I'm going to assume you don't have a pet pig. Sorry.
No. I was thinking I'm just thinking, after hitting with a ranged attack, the next attack against that target has advantage, but that seems a little bit too
That's
powerful.
too.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You can't use
Yeah.
advantage. Must be very rare, or have a magic skill. Otherwise, you're giving yourself too much power.
Yeah.
So maybe
Perhaps a bonus to hit after, like, you have like a stacking hit. Like, I hit you once, I have a +1. I hit you twice, I have a +2.
that's quite powerful. But
Well-
maybe there's something that was. Sorry, I'll just jump in here. I apologize.
Go.
Maybe having is there such thing as disabling shot in the
Yeah, I was
archers?
thinking exactly the same thing from
It's a-
something like
Will
Dragon
came
Age.
up with a called
pinning
shot.
Yeah, but maybe a pinning shot, such as
Yeah.
you shoot them through the limb, basically, and you restrict their movement. That's I think that Matt Mercer has literally come up with something in his already in his what's it called, gunslinger class, which is similar.
I have
Maybe
it. I have the gunslinger class linked in one of my other games. Let me dig it out for you
I
guys.
think
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Because having that skill mode makes sense for someone who's spent a long time as an archer.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's true.
You can probably call shots a lot more easily than say Tavan, who's used a bow, but mostly it's to hit something over there. He doesn't have. He can't hit limbs. He's never practiced.
Mm.
So tentative called shot.
So called shot without disadvantage.
Well, that's the same thing as getting advantage from something.
Well,
Maybe having a bonus to hit.
I would say, cold shots usually only means disadvantage on the shot, right? Or
Yeah.
I mean, how about you do it like sharpshooter or great weapon master instead? If he calls a shot, he gets a -5 to hit instead
As
of
opposed to-
disadvantage.
-5 to hit.
That would work. Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay.
That makes it a lot stronger.
Instead of disadvantage. Okay.
Would you be all right with that?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we are.
And
glad we don't have
somebody
Tony
link
here,
me
who'd
what
manage
cold
to-
shot
I think
actually
everything was
does. Yeah. All right. So is that it? Is that good for you, Abe?
For me, yeah, sure.
Okay. Great.
What was your disadvantage?
Yeah. What kind of do you want a disadvantage?
I didn't come up with one.
You don't have to. I mean, you might just have one.
Oh, so you don't have to have one,
If I
but
come
I'm
up with
fine.
one later, I'll tell you.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have to have one. It's just kind of a role-playing type of,
Yeah.
character balances out sort of thing. Anyone else?
I was thinking disadvantage social checks for Ridley with people who are racist.
That's an
That's
insane-
yeah.
Okay, for the cold shot, what exactly is a cold shot? Like, are we using the trick shot from the gunslinger thing? That
we changed that basically. We're just saying cold shots usually mean you have disadvantage on the roll, whereas we're saying now
what
you
is
just
a cold shot?
a cold shot is that you want to hit a specific part of a body.
I want to hit his
Okay.
eyeball.
Yeah, I want to hit him
Alright.
through the nose, something weird like that. And usually it's disadvantage, but you'd only get a -5, so you
Right.
don't get to have that disadvantage problem.
Right. Yep. Okay. So.
Okay.
So you said you wanted disadvantage on social interactions with racist
Racists.
people? Okay.
I love that one.
Okay.
That's really cute.
Okay.
Why
You
is
and Tavan will get on famously.
Mhm.
Disadvantage
You're like the
on
two awkward
social
people.
checks with racist people. Okay.
Well, at least now I know Teft isn't the only one having problem with races.
Okay.
And your
Uh,
bonus?
Yeah, your bonus.
Disadvantage with the social checks with people who've heard of me,
No, a good thing.
but
A good
Yeah.
thing.
no
Um,
advantage.
You've taken so you've taken disadvantage. Is that the thing as your negative modifier?
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you've taken disadvantage, then to level it out, you would be maybe taking advantage with something.
Yeah, advantage
what she
on
said.
checks with
Yeah.
That's what she said.
people
I
who've
think
heard of me.
that's too narrow.
It is
Like,
too narrow.
How many people know you? You know what I'm saying? I
I don't
mean,
know.
Because
Yeah.
you're very well known in the area where you were, but we're going miles away.
Yeah.
Like it would be way narrow at the beginning, and it would be way broad towards the end. Because if more people know who you are, the more people you'd have advantage checks on. See what I'm saying?
So
It would start this thin and would expand.
It would
wide.
explode, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you would be better at interacting people than the bard, and I don't like that.
Bard is unhappy with your situation.
Jealousy.
Yeah.
So maybe having an advantage on a different type of skill check, like because I mean her backstory is that how was it that she became famous? I've forgotten.
She saved the library, I believe.
No, a bakery.
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 Saved the bakery.
Save the sweets.
As far as I know,
And the baker.
yeah. No, as far as I know, the bakery was on fire, and you put the fire out with your cold breath, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And saved people
Oh.
and froze them.
Saved a baker.
A baker.
You know,
Okay.
you saved the baker.
Hmm.
You're my new best friend.
So I'm trying to think of some sort of skill that would tie into that. That was mainly your ice breath.
Maybe
So-
fire resistance to a degree.
I'll just say that
I think you already have that, don't you?
would
Yeah.
make sense. No, I have cold
Yes,
resistance.
cold resistant.
Oh, cold resistance. Sorry, getting confused. Maybe an advantage on a saving throw then.
Against fire.
No, she
No.
would get disadvantage against fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
ice dragon. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
like, I heard fire, and I was like, fire dragon. Okay.
Well, maybe because she's she's a barbarian. I'm trying to think. The thing is, I'm trying to think of things that won't already happen because you're a barbarian. Because you have your rage bonuses, you get a lot of
Yeah,
advantages
you
anyway.
do get a lot of
So
you get a lot of combat.
So maybe we want an advantage outside combat because that's where you
Right.
don't get advantages. So maybe
Charisma, intelligence, or wisdom, something along those lines.
so. Maybe you have advantage on dealing with certain types of people because you have a problem with racists, so that's a social problem. So having a social benefit would work. So maybe this is hard. Advantage with people who are helping the poor or being very overly generous, things like that. Yes, advantage with philanthropists sounds weird. Sorry, I played too much Fate, so I'm thinking about this too much. Shall we shelve this?
Yes, we might want to give this a thought.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't mind thinking about it, and then we can.
So, Fia,
Yes.
you have an idea.
Well, you know my kind of disadvantage thing already.
You already are aware of all her disadvantages.
Please whisper it to me again, like briefly.
Yeah. Hang on.
Victor, you're killing me.
Hang
Just
on.
gives him a feed.
You just change. Just okay. Yeah, that's fine. Just don't change. Don't change too much else. We're trying to bring things together, not.
Yeah. After today, you're not allowed to change your character. Basically, do not touch it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. And as for her like advantage or bonus, I've got two things. I mean, from her background, I know you've already given me proficiency with carpenter's tools in exchange for proficiency with another tool because
Yes.
of that. But
Yes.
would I be able to because her grandparents were mostly working on weapons such as like wooden weapons, bows, crossbows, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would I be able to sneak in proficiency with longbows and heavy crossbows because of that? If not, the other thing I was thinking is, since seeing as she's basically traveled Ele'thias, or at least southern Ele'thias, for over 3 decades, maybe some sort of bonus advantages probably too much. Either bonus on history checks or maybe proficiency in history.
Proficiency in history. I mean, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
The only thing is your bard's gonna be mostly arcane. I don't want to also give her bow, crossbow, and stuff.
That's I know. It was just one thing I was thinking of, but I think it's more. It suits her more if we go with the history thing, because she's, as I said, she's traveled a lot. She's been in a lot of cities. She's seen a lot of things, so that would make more sense, I think.
Okay, is that? I mean that's good. Is there any other little minor thing you want to add on to that?
Minor thing, like in exchange, or like something else on top?
I mean, like, because several people have had some pretty, decent things. I mean, proficiency history is fine, but I mean, felt like that was enough for your character.
Let me have a think, because I actually thought proficiency in a skill was already quite something, so I didn't think ahead of that. So yeah, we'll mark down the proficiency with history, and I'll get back to you.
I mean, history is one of those things that, I mean, it's not as used as some other proficiencies. Is why I was saying.
Yeah.
No,
That's a lot of background noise.
But the thing is,
You're a dancer, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm. My entertainer routines are dancer, singer, and instrumentalist. So I'm not like an actor.
Perhaps being really supple or really good balance or something like that.
That's a sort of acrobatics thing. So
well, she already has proficiency in acrobatics. Automatically she automatically gets proficiency from her entertainer background. So it's
But I was thinking of picking. Okay, that's fine, but an expertise on walking on a very narrow surface, or
like a dex save, like you're able to have. Oh. Okay.
You mean like an extra small bonus on dex,
on balance and
yeah, so
that would make sense.
Yeah, basically, so it's a bonus to dexterity saves, maybe.
Bonus with dexterity saves, I can see that.
Okay,
what's your dex bonus currently?
I am at 14, which is +2.
So maybe giving you another +2, maybe.
Another +2.
Which would mean, which is basically adding
so
you a proficiency bonus.
So a flat +2. Well, I already have proficiency in dexterity saves.
So you've already got 4. So
I've already got 4.
+6. So that gives you a pretty solid dexterity bonus, which would make sense.
Okay, so another 2 on top of the existing +4, like a flat +2.
Yeah, but only for situations where you have to be lithe or dexterous, such as balancing and things like that, not sort of generally like avoiding a boulder.
Only on
on balancing, like for example, I'm thinking like the pit traps we had in the Tomb of Carthage, where you had this tiny little ledge where you could go around like a bonus on that.
The one I completely destroyed by creating just a floor.
That works.
Sorry about that.
That works. I'm gonna note that down under my character thing.
Okay, so Taban, what about you?
I'm not thinking of anything major because I mostly have Tavan's background suited to everything. But I'm thinking because he stealthed around a lot in his early days, which you know about, I probably would like to pick up a proficiency in stealth.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Proficiency in fly. You're so skinny.
Proficiency in being blown away. Yeah.
efficiency and stealth.
I was actually just thinking, as a halfling, I can normally hide in a larger person's shadow, but I probably wouldn't be able to hide in yours.
And I probably think I'd have a negative modifier for dealing with authority figures, specifically not like watchmen, but people like rulers, people of nobility, things like that, because he treats everybody equally. He's like the communist collective of Ele'thias. So anyone who has like a position of rulership, he's not great at. I wouldn't give myself a disadvantage there because he's not a moron. He's still an elf. But say like a -2 or 3.
Negative proficiency.
A negative proficiency. No, that would be scary because it would get worse as he went up. No, man.
That would be kind of amusing but annoying at the same time.
So he becomes more and more extreme as the days pass.
I already have a -1 charisma, so maybe giving me another so giving him another -1 would probably make sense.
People will attack you on sight.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
Or
that
does that feel imbalanced? Maybe.
No, disadvantage on social checks with authority.
Not disadvantage. No, I didn't say that because disadvantage would be severe. But I'm thinking more like a negative modifier.
Okay, so maybe
because I've only got +2 to stealth, so maybe
maybe like -3 to interactions with
That gives me a -4 modifier to dealing with them. I'm not asking for that.
-2.
That's still a -3. All right.
Well.
Okay.
So
do you know what? I'm just going to sit on this for a while, and we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just character flavor. I don't want to overburden the character because otherwise I'm not going to be useful in any situation.
Oh, all right. That's fine. So, and then
is that everybody?
I think that's everybody.
Besides Kronos.
Besides Kronos. We can't really do anything about him.
Negative modifier to dealing with mortals.
Everybody in Ele'thias.
Yes. General hatred. Positive modifier to disdain.
All right, so I guess that will lead to general questions and things that you have about different subjects. I will say that one of the things that is often asked questions about is combat and things of that nature, and we'll get to that. First of all, I want to say that talk a little bit about the world of Ele'thias itself. Ele'thias is an old world. If you look at the history, it's been around for thousands of years. Let me make sure real quick. I wrote it. I don't remember, so you can't be expected to remember. No, it's the civilization's been around for hundreds of thousands of years. No, I'm sorry, tens of thousands of years.
I was gonna say this is an old civilization.
Yes, tens of thousands of years. The world itself has been around anywhere from 50 million to 2 billion years ago.
Holy shit!
So the world itself is incredibly old. Civilization's only about 50,000 years old. Starting with the supposed empire of the Forgotten Ones, which lived throughout Ele'thias, supposedly about 50,000 years ago. And then, according to the best research available, they vanished. They were wiped out by some sort of calamity. It is suggested that their capital was probably somewhere where the Turner Archipelago is right now, over in this section. It is suggested that there may have been some sort of hydro calamity. Yeah, some sort of hydro calamity that literally washed out that entire region and formed what is now the Inland Sea. But people are not exactly sure. And not long after they eventually died out after the calamity, you have the rise of humans, dwarves, elves, all the other minor races. And there was a period of time where those races lived, in tribal units. But eventually, they formed kingdoms and fought one another, which led to the first, second, and third race wars. The first race war being over the refusal of the elves to help the humans fight off a particular nasty orc and his minions. The second race war fought because the dwarves were irresponsibly drilling and mining into the mountains and causing some sort of poisonous substance to fill different areas of Ele'thias. And the elves tried to stop them. The humans came in on the dwarf side because the humans and dwarves work together when it comes to industry, and that did not turn out well for the druids and others such like that. So after that point, there was the third race war, in which you see the terrorist Elroar uprise, who is the founder of the Headsharp Marksmen. He went on a spring of terror throughout Ele'thias. He and his crews attacking various human cities with various explosive devices. He was very effective at causing mass panic. And it was believed that for some time, that he was going to eventually cause all the kingdoms of humanity to destabilize. But it was during that time period, while he's going around making these terrorized, that it is supposed that some humans fleeing for their lives ran into one of the ruins, the Forgotten Ruins, and activated some sort of arcane magical device, which enabled the entities known as the Enslavers, the Ithalids, to enter the world of Ele'thias. When the Ithalids entered the world of Ele'thias, they immediately enslaved everybody. And for a period of several hundred years, the Ithalids controlled everything. And so the Ithalids were especially interested in the technology and arcane abilities of the Forgotten Ones. And they used their slave labor not so much to drag up resources, but to drag up those old ruins to find out information. But then, one day, when the people who were enslaved, Illithids, when the enslaved woke up, the Illithids were gone. They had vanished. And that immediately led to a period of incredible mass chaos. And as you see, also there's stuff going on in the background in the Divine. And so after that point, there is a period of chaos, and then the nation states start to coalesce together. And there are various events that occur where there are powerful people who rise up. Magic is introduced to Ele'thias and causes all sorts of problems. Most people are leery of it. The Oshira said, "We are not going to have anything to do with it. It's punishable by death." And that results in a equal and opposite reaction from the Susan Tree, where a particularly nasty individual named Joker Zereza raises up and tries to take over Ele'thias and enslave people with magic. He is killed, and even if you read later, he will come back as a lich and try to do it again. He's a particularly angry individual. He keeps reappearing in Ele'thias history, and he will ultimately fail, which ultimately allows magic to get a good hearing, because there is a group known as the Benevolent Magi who go about trying to teach people about magic that's not evil, that can be used for good, so forth and so forth. There's been various political turmoil before this point, and right before you guys come up, I would say within 5 or 10 years, one of the kingdoms of Ele'thias, the Griffin states, were completely destroyed, or at least it's thought they were. What happens is that the suddenly the volcano outside, I think it's Mount Avarak, erupts, and that eruption lets loose some sort of magical corruption, and it filters towards the Gryphon states. So people start to see this, start to flee. But unfortunately, as this stuff spreads, it seems to cause some sort of unnatural decay. So, fearing that the rest of Ele'thias was about to meet the fate of the rest, it is said that the council of the city of Mirages, led by the omnipotent one, sealed up the Griffin states contain the magic inside of the kingdom, and it has been sealed ever since. Okay. It's what is known as the Silent Wood. That was completely sealed off. The areas in white is where the Griffin states used to be. Everything else around it has been. This is like, think of a bubble. It is like a gigantic
Dalaran.
casement. And so you can't get. Nobody can get in. Nobody can get out. And so after that, the Tribon Council that used to be very powerful had to relocate, and that caused more confusion. Canoe closes its borders. A plague breaks out. Gorgath sees the opportunity to attack the free marshes, and all sorts of chaos just starts erupting all over Ele'thias all over again. And it's in that world that you guys end up on the shores of the place that you end up at, which you'll know by the map is somewhere near the town, and the town has anywhere from 20 to hundreds of thousands of people depending on the size of Fisherman's Wharf. So that's where you will start. Travel in Ele'thias is we battered around the idea of each hex taking anywhere from a half to a fourth of a day to travel. And of course, if you're on a mount, it's going to take less time. But I'm thinking, considering the size of the map, I think that it would probably be more honest if it was a fourth of a day's travel. Because if it was a half a day to travel across a hex, I think that this map would be, enormous, and it'd be really difficult to get across.
So a fourth day travel on foot normal speed?
Yes,
or,
perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about the size of the United Kingdom, this map. Not big.
In one day, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So quick. Yeah. And so that's how that will be. Each of your rations, you will have to have things like rations, water, and stuff like that. Each of your rations is going to contain, because I'm not a rations Nazi, and I don't want you to overweigh your pack. Each ration contains about a week worth of food. So if you buy one ration, you'll have food for an entire week. Where you have to buy
nice.
one ration. Okay.
But you will also allow us, or like the people who are proficient in survival, to like hunt for food. That's
yes.
Foraging.
If the land allows it, for instance, it's gonna be harder to hunt in the frozen north than it is going to be, obviously in a bright forest.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But basically, I
where
can
applicable,
most of us. Yeah.
Right.
So that's part of my Outlander trait.
So where's it allowed? You can definitely hunt.
Oh yes, you're Outlander.
Yeah,
that helps.
I can find in almost any conditions food and water for up to 6 people, including myself. So 2 people are going to have to go without. I will have you draw lots.
You too.
Yeah. I don't like you, and you're irritating me.
Otorno, please.
Well,
Thank
there you go. So, so you will be able to do stuff like that. That way you don't starve. But just in case you need rations will one ration will last 7 days, because it does take up room in your pack. It can get quite. It can weigh down the little people really quickly. So,
8 strength. 8 strength.
Putting your carrying a cart.
Right.
So am I going to be carrying Fia's pack for her?
Maybe.
Unimpressed look. Anyway.
I imagine Tevin would just carry our pack so he doesn't like fall down.
Yeah, it's ballast.
Now your water skin, however, will have to be probably refilled not every day, but probably every 2 days.
Yeah,
so you'll want to find a source of water.
That's approximately how much would be in a water skin if you're not being a mental patient. I was gonna say, if you're in a desert, ideally you need an entire water skins full of water, but
Mhm.
we'd probably want to ration it.
Mm.
But yeah, that would be a problem.
Going
forward to that.
without. What happens if we go without food or water for, let's say, 1 or 2 days? Do we suffer exhaustion?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go without. Okay. Here's another rule, and I want you to get this. Yeah. Exhaustion. If you can go without food, if you run out of food, you can go without food, and live, for probably because you're doing a lot of traveling. If you were just sitting around, you could last a month possibly fast, but you're not sitting around. So you could probably go without food a whole week, but you would slowly suffer the effects of exhaustion. 1 point, and then another point, and then another point per day until you, you die. Obviously.
How about like a character is able to go without food and water for a number of days equal to their constitution modifier, and from that point on they will suffer effects
suffering.
like
That sounds good. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
That's a good. I like that. So yeah.
0 days.
Ow.
Very good. You can survive as long as your constitution modifier is high enough.
Yeah.
And then you start to suffer exhaustion.
That's how it works with the system. Although now I have to continually feed Thea water and food to make sure she doesn't die.
Now water on the other hand is very different.
Yeah, you'd gonna
you
need
go
water.
You get 2 points of exhaustion per day after you do water, because water is very precious. You have
Yes.
to have it.
Yes,
So-
that makes sense.
You will die much quicker without water. Also, yes, good thing you have a druid that can create water. Also, if you
I might
don't-
not.
No water for you.
No water for any of you. 10 gallons back.
Also, you will suffer if you don't take a rest for the day. You will suffer a point of exhaustion.
Yeah, that's normal.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you go a full 24 hours and you don't take a rest, you will suffer a point of exhaustion.
Oh, we've
Long
lost
rest or short rest?
Yes. Long rest.
Long
you need
rest.
long
Mark has
rest
just
to recover
vanished, by the way.
exhaustion.
Poor Mark.
Well,
Disappeared off.
Mark will be
Mark
back with
will
this
be
shortly.
back, It's okay.
Okay.
But we are recording.
Yes.
But yes.
That's true.
So, for exhaustion purposes, you have to have a long rest in order to recover exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you get disease, the same thing. The disease will slowly work through your body and everything, unless you are healed
That's what we have a cleric for.
by some means.
And a druid.
And a druid.
And ranger.
That's the reason they bring us along. Otherwise, they leave us behind.
Right. Now I cannot say that you won't have to. Some of you might not pick up a disease or an affliction that might require some sort of quest to take care of. I won't say that won't happen. But
No, that's
normal
fine.
diseases and stuff, you just need to make sure that you're taken care of within.
Does anybody here have proficiency in medicine?
Well, I would
Oh.
hope so.
Good.
No,
Cleric.
but I'm decent enough with it.
Yeah. No, it's just
That doesn't look lethal. Suck it up.
I need to
Um,
save my clerics
Stop
some
bleeding.
important things.
How does
Okay.
it look like food wise? When we go into taverns and stuff, it's gonna cost us.
It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same as PHP. I'm
Why-
not gonna make up. numbers.
By popular demand. Da.
If you don't want to pay money, I mean, there is a way so you can possibly persuade people to, give you, room and board in exchange. For instance, you're a bard, you could perform. Somebody might want to win at a hand of cards and win money for the group, or to
I mean, as
spend.
long
whatever.
as I perform, we get free lodging and food, basically. which is quite
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Yeah, but
So yeah, so there's that. Any other questions about traveling around? Oh yes.
No.
If you hit a rough terrain, say mountains or deserts or anywhere with like thick forest, that's anything that has like a tree on it. You will be in a difficult terrain type of setting, so it will probably take you longer to get through those spaces.
that makes sense.
So it would take a half day to get through a hex. Now with a mountain hex is going to take you a full day to get through.
Okay.
Yes, because it's rough. It's rough travel.
Sometimes it's eating around.
Unless there's a road, for instance, if you look in the southern pigs up here, those are not roads through the mountains. Those are roads under the mountains, by the way.
Yeah.
So you would be going underneath the mountains. You'd be fine.
So it's a road through the mountain.
Yes, it's through the mountain. But other than that, I mean, some of these roads, like the ones up here, the Adamant Spires, those aren't in the mountains; those are above it, unless it's like the city. Like this one here is a dwarf city, so it's probably underneath there. But unless there's like a road, roads will help keep it about half a day. Unless there's like a road, you will have to spend a full day to get through that part of the mountains.
What if I mean I don't mean to metagame, but I just wanna know.
No.
What if our ranger has favorite terrains, forest or mountains? Would with his guidance would we be able to travel at a faster pace?
Yeah, obviously. If your ranger's favorite terrain is that, then you would just travel that hex like normal.
Awesome.
Now, it's hard to say that you would travel through the mountains in a fourth of a day.
Yeah, no,
Um,
but
But
maybe
other
half a
than
day.
that, maybe your forest and stuff. Yeah. The mountains, it would probably like half a day, something like that. Water travel.
Transform into a shark and pull our boat.
Water travel. If you travel
Not
out
to
in the
level 4.
if you travel out in the open water, like that's anywhere with a dark blue spot, it's just gonna take about, the same amount of time, probably about fourth of the day, half a day, I'm not sure. The shallows, when you get into the lighter green sections, there is a small chance that you will hit shallows
Run
in a
aground.
boat. Okay, but it's not high. Like the shallow greens are not high. Now, however, see the
Thank God we have
reefs
sailors.
here. The reefs, there's a much greater chance that you will hit something if you sail through the reef parts.
Let's
Okay.
hope that one of our sailors knows how to sail.
This is why we bring Teft along. He knows how to
Yes.
sail.
I do know how to drive a boat.
Yeah, and you do you have proficiency in navigator's tools as well automatically from your background, right?
Yep.
Ah, awesome.
Whether I have navigator tools is a completely different story.
Yeah,
Pooling cash to buy you some. Yeah.
The same thing is true with ice. These are ice squares, so you're gonna have to really be careful sailing through that.
Ice
There.
Bay. Yes, icy.
Ice
Very icy.
spy.
So that's your water travel. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So that's how you will be traveling around. Everybody is familiar with all the kingdoms and places in
Mostly.
Ele'thias for the most part. Good.
I haven't memorized them all, but yeah, that will come
Well,
later.
obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess then we can discuss combat situations. So, does anybody have any questions about specific rules of combat?
Not today.
Nope.
Not today?
Well, yeah. I was going to say, combat. I imagine you do combat exactly the same as the Player's Handbook, or is there anything you do differently?
For the most part, sleeping is interesting, and I had this come up in the other game that I DM'd, so I'm going to talk about it. Sleeping is one of those things that it's supposed to catch you off guard. You're not supposed to be like fully aware when you wake up.
Not wearing armor and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're not gonna be if you're wearing like cloth, you're fine. But like if you're wearing like heavy plate, you're not wearing plate.
Yeah,
to
of
sleep,
course
I'm
not. No.
sorry.
No.
I mean, even leather armor you would not wear.
Yeah, it would
to
just
bed.
not be comfortable.
No. I've
Pretty uncomfortable, yeah.
So,
Depends on how padded your leather armor is.
Well, even the thing about leather armor is it's stiff. It's not like clothing, so
Right.
it's like wearing sheets of cardboard on you.
like,
Hey.
So it would be hard to lie down properly, and the buckles would get in you.
hang on.
So say if you're weird, you would wear leather armor to sleep. Otherwise, you would take it off.
Which, I mean, judging by the people we have here,
There's a few strange
everyone's
people.
sleeping in leather armor.
right.
It's not like it's pajamas. You can't take off your other armor. And put on leather armor.
All right, taking off the cloth and putting on the leather armor. And start going to bed.
As far as I'm aware, Tivan is wearing no armor. Lucky him. But yeah, I think we don't start with any anyway, so that'll be
You
fun. But,
And so
yeah.
when you're sleeping, if the watch person doesn't catch who's creeping up on you, the only way you could wake up is if you pass a, what did I use? I think a con check or a con save or something like that, where you would like be aware, like the presence of the individual. Otherwise, you wouldn't be aware until they attacked you, which unfortunately is a very bad situation for you.
I imagine you get bonuses if they run in screaming or stand on you or something.
Well, obviously, if they're like,
I got stepped on.
you know, jumped
And that's
up, you
and that's
know.
why people keep watch.
That's why we have Pudding around. Pudding is the tripping hazard. He runs.
Victor, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you.
I think we can. You might have muted him.
I muted him
No?
because of the background noise.
Oh yes, true.
I can hear him.
Shite.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You're
I
fine,
am very
Victor.
sorry.
Just for the background noise. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, there's no more background noise now. The place is now deserted almost.
That's okay. No, I'm sorry. I
Yes,
forgot that I
obviously.
muted
Let's
you.
put music in the background.
I think I can hear background music. I'm not sure if that's from you or if it's from like nearby.
Yeah, it's from nearby. It's from the
Yeah.
streets.
We can hear the streets. So
Impressive.
But what I said was that one time when I was doing another campaign, we didn't put up watch because everyone was exhausted, and we almost got TPK'd. So watches are important.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
people
telling time.
like Rinny who don't have any spells, for example, are more likely to stand watch because they can use hit dice and stuff. But people like, I don't know, me or Tivan or we gonna need our long rests for our spell slots.
you do need a long rest, but long rest does not mean sleeping. Long rest means you are resting.
Yes.
So people need 8 hours sleep a night, so that's usually categorized as a long rest.
Yeah.
But for example, for Tivan, who is a druid, he only needs to sleep for 4 hours. He still needs to rest for 8 hours in order to have a long
But you
rest.
can still keep watch while
But
resting.
I
Yes.
can like have 2 hours either side where I'm awake. I'm still resting, so to speak, but I am keeping an eye on things. That would make sense.
Actually,
Yeah, elves and
somewhere
druids are good for keeping watch because they only need like half the time for sleeping.
It actually says
meditation.
under elves somewhere
Yeah.
that the meditative sleep that you get as an elf, it actually does count as an 8-hour sleep for you.
It
I've
does, but I think from Will's perspective, he doesn't want people just having different lengths. So I
Okay.
still need to take a long rest, it being 8 hours to regain my spells.
Oh, okay.
My sleep period is shorter. I just
Okay,
do
right.
other things. I'm awake and doing other things for those 8 hours.
That works.
Right. But basically, in order to wake up, you have to do a con save, and not you
Right.
would be sleeping. what stats would Navigator work off of?
I'm trying to add it to my list of skills. Just
Intelligence?
Well, I
that's
would.
what I was thinking. But
Yeah, I know. I would say isn't like, yeah,
'cause
navigating.
I'm looking it up in the book and I can't find anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm dumpy intelligence, so that's bad.
Welcome to the club.
I have 12 intelligence.
Thanks,
I
Wizard
have-
of the Coast, for making intelligence absolute useless to everybody at Wizard.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm relatively intelligent, as in I don't have any bonuses, but I have no negatives either.
That's the best place to be.
I have a +1.
Yeah,
I'm,
well
I'm
done.
putting it. I'm putting it
Smartest
as
member of the
it at the
party.
moment. Will.
What?
I'm putting Navigator's tools as int at the moment.
Okay, that sounds fine to me. Okay. So yeah, you would have to.
Wait, who's talking? I can't hear.
Willis.
Okay, Mark. That's fine. We'll be recording. We're recording this, so if you need to get on later and look at it, that's fine. You'll be able to keep up. Sorry about that. Mark's having trouble with some storms
Aw.
Oh.
around his house. So
Blame the Tempest Druids. Tempest Clerics.
so yeah, you.
No.
So Sleepy,
Don't
you'd
blame
have
me.
to con save to wake up. If you wake now, the way I do it, if you wake up, you're no longer prone, so you won't be prone.
Right.
But there is a chance. There is a chance that you might be kind of dazed and surprised, kind of,
Yeah,
unless you have that
surprised.
ability not to be surprised.
Alert
So-
feat, you mean?
Yeah, the alert feat, right? So unless you have something like that, there is also a chance that you would be surprised. I probably would have you roll a wisdom save with that, so you're kind of perspective sort of thing of what's going on. And if you failed that, you'd be surprised for the round. If not, you would be fully capable of participating.
Yeah, that
Any
makes
time.
sense. That makes sense.
Okay. So that's normally how I did sleep. That really kind of unnerved the people in the last group. It unnerved one of the players. Let me put it that way. So
I think it's just because rolling a lot tends to be considered a bad thing in D&D. I know rolling is part of it, but you need to roll as little as possible for it to be
Right.
fun. So, yeah, we're having to do a lot of rolls. People are like, ugh, but it makes sense for sleeping. So,
yeah, sleeping's one of those situations. That
I mean, when was the last
really-
time you got out of bed and didn't go? What?
Oh
Where am
yeah.
I?
No
my
one
house?
gets out of bed fully prepared for
was gonna say-
something.
I mean, the only time I did that was like when I had fire alarms go off during student union day. Fuck me! I'm awake, but I don't want to be. 20 minutes trying to recover your brain.
No,
So it makes sense.
ever since I became a mom, though, I'm like, I wake up and then I'm immediately awake. That can be beneficial.
But none of us here are parents, I think, so.
That's
It's
true.
characters.
Not in game, no.
Not knowingly, anyway.
Not
So-
no.
I'm looking at Teft specifically. Here. It's,
Hey, that's his dad. I've just got like 8 brothers and sisters. Teft hasn't done anything yet.
Yet.
Maybe.
Please don't. Don't.
don't.
Teft shows up like,
PG-13
look,
game.
I have a cousin.
Cuddles is basically my kid.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but Cuddles can take care of herself, so you're not worried about her.
You don't wake
That's
up
why
for
Teft is
Cuddles. Cuddles,
adventuring.
yeah. Cuddles goes off and kills the thing that's making the noise in the night.
Yep.
Anyway,
All right. So there's that. I mean, you guys know that I treat natural 20s and that ones really severely. So,
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember those natural ones. All
but you
over
won't
that dungeon.
die. You won't die. Okay. There's
You just take
no,
double
"Oh,
damage."
I rolled a night 1 and I died. No, there's none of that. But I do take them seriously.
stuff will go wrong if you roll a natural one.
Right, and stuff will go really well if you roll a natural 20.
That includes like if a enemy like fails a dexterity saving throw for a spell with a natural 1 means double damage and a natural 20 means no damage. I remember.
Yeah, I remember that from the tryout.
Yeah. I think that the thing is with the new sheets that we have, it rolls the crits very clearly. So I think we'll just take the crit damage. As far as on saves, I think I like that. I like the idea of creature. If a creature rolls a natural 20, then it would be a supernatural save almost. It's like not only does it avoid the doesn't not only does it avoid full challenge, it avoids all the damage as opposed to just avoiding that, making it half damage.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, if it fails, it's a natural 1, it's gonna take, like you were saying, double that amount of damage. I think I like that. I just like that rule. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, and it would be the same if you did the same thing. Like if
I don't like that.
You don't like that, but
No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Right. If you rolled a natural 20, you would also get the benefit, and if you rolled a natural 1, if you were using like a severe spell, there could be consequences. James, are you talking?
Nope.
Okay. James has
But
not
James
got his
doesn't have
camera
the
on.
camera on.
Yeah.
But
I
Okay.
don't have a webcam.
But
apparently.
is he talking sometimes? Because I can't hear him talking at all.
That's probably the fan picking up in the background just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not hearing him talk. He only talks when I actually hear him, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
It
so
picks up the
that's
little green thing occasionally.
that's true. So, do you guys have any other concerns, questions, so forth?
Natural 20s are just double the damage.
Damage-wise, no. I think we're just going to follow with whatever the sheet does, because the sheet actually shows it really clearly what the crit effects
So
damage is.
instead
Yeah, it
instead
rolls
of
the
a-
crit dice.
Mhm.
Yeah, instead of double the damage, it's gonna be an additional die.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So So any other questions? Any other issues that you think need to be worked out?
Oh, let's see. When fighting like a big group of enemies,
Mhm.
when you do an extra attack, can you attack another target, or does it have to be the same target?
Can be another target.
If you've got the action, I don't see. The thing is, the target has to be in your 180 vision, because if you turn around to fight the other one, the other one gets an attack of opportunity on you if it's still alive. But if it's like in front of you in your peripheral, then I would say you can attack the target that's in your peripheral vision.
Wait, you mean if you turn your back to a creature, but you
Right.
don't leave its melee range,
Right.
it still gets an attack of opportunity
Well,
on you?
yeah, because you're turning
That's
its
against.
back.
That's not in the rules, but Will's
Yeah.
homebrew.
Yeah, that's a house rule, but it makes
Okay.
sense. It makes a lot of sense,
Yeah,
really.
no, that's okay. That's okay.
Turning your back, so I figure.
Well,
Okay.
I think
No.
it's more because the opportunity to attack is because you're moving away from it. Turning around, it would be more. It gets advantage on attacks against you because you can't see it to get out of the way. Because you haven't actually moved enough to prevent your block. But it's up to Will to come up with that. So if he says that's an opportunity attack, that's fine.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
not how it's normally done.
Right.
Oh, that's
So,
okay.
but yeah, if it's within your 180, you would be fine. You could attack another creature without issues. It wouldn't attack you. That makes sense.
How do you handle like using a spell? For me, I'm gonna have to grab hold of my loot as spellcasting focus, obviously. But for example, John, if he's like casting his spells, would he have to like really put away a weapon and then grab his holy symbol?
Actually, Will gave me a great idea, so I wouldn't have to drop my weapon. The holy symbol.
Your
Yeah.
sword's on your side. Then I don't see a reason why you'd have to
Yeah.
spend an action to get that out.
Yeah, okay, no, that's okay. And also, what was I asking? Oh yes, when you're casting a spell, for me, I'm gonna have to grab hold of my loot as spellcasting focus, obviously. But for example, John, if he's like casting his spells, would he have to like really put away a weapon and then grab his holy symbol?
Actually, Will gave me a great idea, so I wouldn't have to drop my weapon. The holy symbol could be on my shield, so I use my weapon in one hand and the shield to cast.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah.
I'm just asking in
Yeah,
general,
you
because
would probably have to grasp the holy symbol. So yeah.
Unless it's like engraved on your shield, yeah.
Yes, if it's on your shield, it's different. But if it was like something you wore, you'd have to probably grab it.
No,
That's why
it would be
Tavon-
on my shield. It would be on my shield since I'm a frontline cleric, combat cleric. It makes sense.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that one lucky crit that accidentally scrapes your holy symbol off the front of your shield.
Oh shit. Yeah. No, it's like the same reason that Tavan's staff is his focus is that he can't. If he loses that, he'll get. It's hard to lose and it's hard to not get back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, is it a quarter staff? Like you can hit people with it?
Yeah, it is. But although for the first bit we're treating it as a staff, we're gonna because no one has any weapons, so we're treating it like a staff, and we'll say
Tavon is
maybe.
weakened at that point. He's just
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
weak and been
wobbling.
bashed around. He's probably got. We can't wield it in two hands because of his hands.
If we're proficient with a staff and we're washed up on a beach, I'm sure there's
All
enough
right.
wood that we can just go, I got a staff now.
Yeah, it's just because it's part of his magical focus. We're saying for a little while he won't be able to use it as a cord stuff, but
Right.
eventually it will be that again.
Hmm.
It's a decent sized thing, yeah.
And it hurts. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Anybody else?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking too.
Do rangers have an arcane focus or a spellcasting focus?
Rangers.
I don't
'Cause
think rangers
no.
need anything.
They don't need a
No.
focus. There's a component cost to the spell. They need the component.
Yeah.
No, it's just like normal spells, which, for example, need like a hair of something and like some sort of fiber, and there is no cost indicated. Then a spellcasting focus, like my loot or Tivan's staff, erases that that component. You don't need it. But if
you bought
it's
a pouch, you would be able to take care of it.
yeah.
Anything that doesn't have a cost.
Yeah, but if you're casting a resurrection spell where it says diamonds worth 300 GP, then
Yes.
Yeah, then you had to have those diamonds.
yeah.
Oh,
How?
I have a.
Yeah.
Oh, you go ahead first.
Yeah, no, I was. This is not really combat, but I was just how are you gonna treat resurrection?
We hope we don't have to deal with it soon enough.
Well, I like the way that it's done on Groupable. I think that it should be a step-by-step process
Yeah.
of it going back and forth based on people's assistance and roles and stuff. I really like that. Going back to what you said about the items and cost, it would be the item itself or the gold amount. So you'd have to pay. You lose one or the other. That way. Because you're not
Yeah.
always going to run around with diamonds for
Yeah.
300 gold, but
Yeah.
you can definitely sacrifice that amount of money.
So as long as we have the gold needed, you will allow us to cast a spell.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
So it's either the items or the gold, one or the other.
Oh, I have a question. How are you gonna deal with Are you gonna have like cleaving damage? Like we're fighting against a horde of kobolds that have really small HP, and then you kill a kobold on one hit, and there's enough damage to also kill the kobold beside it. Is that a thing or no?
That's an iffy one. I was going to say.
Well,
as
If
you
you
get more
have
powerful,
great
you just-
weapon master,
Yeah, as you get more powerful, you just turn up and go, I'm going to kill everything. No,
yeah,
no.
I think.
No, I mean it has like the reach of your 180.
Yeah.
You hit the person in front on your side, and then it goes through the person in its side, and like you killed them at most 3 people with it.
I think there's a specific feat that lets you do that, so it wouldn't be make
I think
sense
it's
for
great
it.
weapon fighter.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be in the standard rule. Sorry for ruling for you, Will.
Okay,
But, yeah.
it was just a question
There's also the horde
because
raiding
fighting
talent
against
from
hordes
rangers.
is a really pain in the butt.
That is why
When
you
you
bring
can't-
AoE spells.
Like a
Fireball!
code breaker for that reason.
I
Fireball!
think that there was something I read that said that there was some sort of crowd control cleaving mechanism. But I do believe it was for when you are a certain level and
It's a
the creatures are like pathetic and you just don't, you know.
I don't have time
like
for you.
kobolds.
Yeah,
like-
it would be less at that point. It's less a role and more a GM ruling that okay,
Right.
you've turned up. You cannot not kill 5 of these in one go.
Right.
You just kill it. You don't have to
And
bother rolling.
suddenly, I have
Yeah.
a shish kebab of kobolds.
It's like well, that was easy. Yeah. So
Why
Rather
why
than
why
making
do
it
I
easy.
why do I currently have to think about that Trial of the Take episode? You know, with the rats and the angry dwarf.
No. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So there's
Go on.
things like AoE. There's AoE spells and all sorts of other things that exist. That would mean
Also,
cleaving is a pointless rule unless you're great
kind
weapons.
of what a
monster.
true attack
I
is
don't
for.
think at a certain point that I'm going to send 40 kobolds at you.
Well, could
Okay,
happen.
level
In a
20
typical
characters here,
combat
100
situation. You know, it would probably be more like this is a challenge type thing, guys. There's 40 kobolds coming towards you. What are you gonna do?
Fireball!
You know, fireball, right? And so it's not
All
likely
of
to
them are
be an
dead.
initiative sort of thing. So I wouldn't
And Tivan
be
runs
too worried
away.
about it.
It's-
Good question
it-
though.
It's a less powerful fear now than it was. It's more like a dislike. I'm not gonna make it. Otherwise, I'd be running away every time I saw a candle.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you're okay with like small flames, but stuff like
Yeah,
explosions and
fireball,
fire.
I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna stand on the other side of that wall.
You just gotta word it into untamed fire makes him. Because I mean, campfire, it's a fire we control.
It's a
Candle, fire.
controlled fire.
He's still not comfortable with it, but he can deal with it. Anyway,
No, like adverse effects to. Oh no, I just lit a candle. Panic.
It was far more entertaining if he like went paranoid, like I cast fireball. Oh no!
Okay. Is there anything else? Any questions about the world? I mean, you just ask anything you want to. I'll do my best to answer.
Most of. I've named them speaking for everyone, but I think most of the questions are going to come up as we play.
As we play, right?
Yeah.
You're right about that.
we'll try and keep a list of if we have any questions. For now, you've answered most of the general stuff. You let us know what the rules are going to be like.
Yep.
You let us customize the characters to a degree. We now will know what's going to happen next. I'm going deaf because Victor's
Yeah, I'm really
ambient sound is killing me. But otherwise, I'm going to mute him. Sorry, Victor.
Yeah,
But
me too.
otherwise, there's nothing else I can think of that needs to be clarified at this stage.
Okay.
I'm sorry I spoke so much.
No.
No, it's fun.
People
Is it
got bored with
Anybody
me.
curious about anything? I mean, you want to know anything about like where they you're from, or like the history and stuff? Or I mean, if there's any sort of questions, I'm more than willing to answer them.
I've probably got 10 million things I want to know, but they'll probably come up, as people just said, they'll come up when
Yeah.
things actually happen.
Better we discover more things about the world on our own, like rather than here's the encyclopedia of my world, know it. It
Yeah.
makes more
Yeah.
sense
We
for
all-
us to walk through the world and figure out things.
We already know a lot about Ele'thias, so yeah.
Yeah.
Glad.
Yeah, after the many
Especially
months
because,
of
like-
sitting here and talking about it.
Yes.
Because my
Exactly.
character has never really left Gorgoth and the Free Marshes. I'm purposefully not really reading much about the other nations.
And I am purposely reading up everything. I actually have no idea about the Northern Confederacy and the Griffin States, though. And my character has never been there, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. All right then. So I'm going to be looking over everybody's background again, and what I want to do is I want to make sure I can meet with each of you one-on-one address any of those background issues that you may or may not have, or how you want to connect with some of the other players. If there's something I've written down here about your connection, how you want to work that out, and stuff like that. So I can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up kind of like the tryout sheet, but I'm going to like set up certain times, and it probably be I will set apart like an hour, even if it will only take about 30 minutes. That way, if you do have stuff that you need to tell me or want to discuss with me about your character in private, then we will talk about that then. Other than that, if you think of anything after this point, feel free to ask me, and I will answer as best as I can. And so I will now unfortunately have to try to assemble your. I got most of it, but I gotta put the cogs into assembling your first session. Your first session is not. I am thinking that I will be back on the 24th. By that point.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Otherwise,
I hate you.
I'd have a week to prepare for this session.
Wait, you're gonna skip a week?
No. Not skipping a week. This game's gonna go every other week. So.
And technically, we are technically 3 weeks, starting in 3 weeks' time, but
yeah. So 17th, I will not be here. I will be on vacation, sadly.
It is the middle of the year. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Happens.
So I will be out of town on 17th. I am hoping to be back by the 24th at the time.
If you're not,
don't think I could have. I might be able to, but I don't think I can have a session for you by the 10th. I just don't think at this point that I will have everything worked out and set by at the.
Yeah.
Why I try to give it every.
I'd rather have you like prepare properly and like quality over quantity.
Oh, I'll prepare
same.
properly. I'll just kill myself doing it.
Please don't.
in that case,
Don't need to
Oh,
burn down
in that case, I don't mind.
So,
burn yourself out. It's a horrifying experience.
Tentatively, the first game will be at the time that we started today on the 24th. I want the games to last about 3 to 4 hours. 4 hours if we're fighting something and just can't get out of it. 3 hours if it's like something in between travel or some other
Shopping.
something like that.
Shopping!
Right.
It will happen one day.
Shopping will be
Shopping session.
We will have a 2-hour episode for shopping session.
That was a fun episode of Critical Role, that
but
shopping episode.
we need like proper NPC interactions, like Victor, like not you, Victor, but the Critical Role Victor, and then it's gonna be 4
I know.
hours. Then it's gonna be 4 hours.
Crazy
Great.
black powder merchant. Yeah.
Okay.
But hey, is it really gonna be every other week? I thought this was
Yes.
gonna be a weekly game.
It's every
It
other
was.
week.
It
It's
was
been-
originally advertised as weekly, but it was then made every other week. So
I realized just how
that's
big this
prep stuff.
actually is,
There's
and to do it properly. Yeah.
With 8 players as well, you need the prep time because otherwise, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, if it's only like 4 or 5 players, would probably have been easier to make it every week. But with our group size, I can understand that, especially since Will has other campaigns going as well. Not necessarily as GM, but yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff happens here in
boo.
Arkansas too.
Lies.
know
nothing
you-
happens in
That doesn't even count. That doesn't even, real life doesn't count. Well, real life
Not
doesn't
allowed
count.
to.
Like I thought that's why you moved to the Midwest. Nothing
Well, damn,
happened.
I'm gonna have to find another game to fill my life during the wait time.
I recommend another hobby.
Also, if you guys are not keen on shopping, I will also take out of game requests for shopping. So